If I want to create a board game, like a tool, what steps I should take?
Well, first of all, thank you. And I think it's always a creative process in any case, like creating something. So I at first had basically a challenge. I had the task to introduce sustainability and environmental topics, and then I needed some engaging format. And I was like, what should I do? Like, how do I accomplish that task? Introducing the topic and creating the further interest about it. And I thought of simulation of municipality meeting, for example, but then I would cover just a few, right? A few topics of environment because, or I thought of the yes no line. So with the statements where people take sides, but like you can't play it for an hour and a half, so it wouldn't work. And somehow, yes, I came back to something like I mentioned, something that I enjoy myself. Like I would call myself factual nerd. I like the games that have facts or that explain something. How does something work? And I mean, everyone is different. Everyone likes their own things, you know. Like some people like more relational games, and this is my thing. So I kind of gradually came to this format, and basically I borrowed the ideas of how the game could work from Trivial Pursuit, which is the general knowledge game that I mentioned before. And basically I tried to make it similar to that, so including general knowledge and interesting facts about sustainability topic. And yeah, basically those were the two first two tasks like that I handled, the first two steps. And in the next slide I have
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so and further, of course, that's not where it all ended. That, oh wow, I came up with an idea, I'll make a board game. And now it's like, there are challenges now, new challenges and tasks. So deciding on categories, like I mentioned before, that there are 5 categories with 12 cards per each category, so that there are enough questions. But basically, it took a while to come to those 5 categories because, like I said, I disqualified history, I disqualified nature, I disqualified science,
Why?
and
I will now jump into it. Why did you disqualify nature? No, because I totally understand when you create something, you need to have some structure. And
yes.
going everywhere, I guess, is not useful. But how did you decide yes, no?
In a way, I had basically some questions, for example, regarding nature, but I didn't have a wide perspective or like, and then somehow I found a way to incorporate these curious questions in the categories that were final. So it didn't go to waste. Information didn't go to waste, basically. Similarly, with science and technology, maybe I didn't feel that I'm strong enough in that topic. I am interested in some things, but some things that just don't make sense to me. So like it was more like, like what could make sense, basically. So yeah, there then we had concepts, recipes, sustainable living, where the nature also went actually. So facts and random questions that would come from and basically after deciding on categories, there's the next step, which is research and content creation, as the idea was to provide simple enough definitions, so like answering what is or what it consists of. So basically I went on World Wide Web, right? So and I mainly looked for Wikipedia material because it has a lot of definitions. And like basically that's my main source where I looked for things. But also sometimes I would use some academic articles where I found some definition for something, or it explained the process, so you fit it in this small thing. So more or less that's where it went. So it was Google search, Wikipedia, some academic articles, and yeah. So but of course there's a very logical step that comes there are challenges and surprises in the process. So I'll start with the surprises. That there's, for example, snowball effect, I would call it, on the research topic. So I, for example, started to explore what instant coffee is made of, and it led me to the next question: what is a takeaway coffee cup made of? Why it is waterproof? So is it sustainable? At the end, it turns out it's not, because it has a plastic coating, even if it's from paper. So you will have to still get rid of it in the general waste. So yeah, like these kind of things would happen. So that's a nice thing about the creative process, this snowball effect. And of course, there are the downsides as well. So the breaking point when you just run out of ideas and you're like, what to do now? And like nothing comes to your head. You're just taking a walk outside and you come back and it's still empty. You can't think of anything. And basically, you have a simple solution there. At least I found it. I went to work and I started asking my colleagues, what do you think of, I don't know, when you think of sustainability, what do you think about? Like, what is sustainable for you? And similarly, I had a chance or like privilege to speak with a friend that worked in the field of climate change and those things. And I asked the same question. So she also provided insight, and somehow it feels actually that it was like a bit of a teamwork, I would say. Like when you run out of ideas, yeah, that like it's nice to go and just chat with someone that has no idea what you're talking about, but maybe there's the great new idea coming. And the last step is always consider how you will implement it in reality and what materials you need. So I listed now what was used for this board game. So it's you need to print out the cards so they could look like this, like, and there you could use it with a covering with the post-it the answer, or you could use two separate cards. I used the cardboard to make it more sturdy. So there's a question and the answer. So there are different options available. So you will need a dice or the printed cube that is also provided in the set of the game that we will share. Yeah, and I also realized that we needed some creative bonus system like we did in Georgia. We used candy when people added some useful or interesting information to the question of some of other team, they would get a bonus point. And at the end, it was like if you have 5 candies, you can pick a question from any category you want, like basically. So that was the idea for bonus point. I would use less than 5. I would use maybe 3 if I would play this again. And yeah, add your own ideas depending on the audience you're playing it with. So like these action cards or activity cards could be a extra idea. So this game set, we just have how do you say, content information. So basically there is content, specific questions, specific answers in relation to sustainability and environment, but you can always add more. So it's not like sturdy and certain. So yeah, that would be the creation process.
Great, thank you very much. And I